What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 3 of my F1 2017 career mode in the Renault for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Two things I'm going to cover while we see my lap times in qualifying is that, one, I've lowered the difficulty from the Chinese Grand Prix. I felt like I was struggling way too much to keep pace, especially in the practice programs ran for this weekend. I was at least 5-6 tenths off the delta I was required, which made the practice programs nigh on impossible. And then, talking about the practice programs, I've also decided not to include them in the videos anymore, as you know the way they work now. And it seems kind of pointless because they take up a lot of time, so I'll just crack on with whatever ones I can do, and then if I do any upgrades I will let you know about those. So as we come on to the end of our flying lap now, the delta says we are only half a tenth off of our best, but as we cross the line it turns out that we're actually 3.5 tenths up, as we do a 1 minute 30.8. That was the best I felt I could get out of the car during this race, or during this weekend. But as you can see, it only left us in 16th position, knocked out in qualifying 1, and still with 3 tenths to find to have actually survived. So let's move on to the race. Right, Jeff there's given us a 2-stop strategy, where we start on super softs, go on to the mediums, and then go on to the soft tyres at the end. That's the way I wanted to change it anyway. I swapped the mediums and the soft tyres around because I wanted to be on the faster rubber at the end of the race, because it might work out a bit better. And as the lights go out for the Bahrain Grand Prix, we are underway. Carlos Sainz gets a good launch next to us, but Hulkenberg looking like he gets off to a disappointing start. We get the toe on Ocon and Sainz, try and hover between the two of them. Break that little bit late in the AI into turn 1 as we drift up their inside. Ocon holds on, Grosjean and Hulkenberg as well, still they're very close to Hulkenberg on the exit of 2. He almost cut across the track and swiped straight into our side pod as we now fly up the inside of the Toro Rosso and Esteban Ocon. And almost past Sergio Perez, but Perez holds on to 10th position for now. So we've gone from P16 to P11 out of the first few corners. Can we look at the inside of Perez here into turn 7? Yes, we do. Sergio Perez loses his points position to us as we move up to 10th. Now at the inside of Kevin Magnussen, almost carbon copy of what we did to Perez last lap. But Magnussen's going to hold it. Get a great toe down the straight. We're going to be side by side coming into the double left-hander, but there's a bit of contact, and that sends us into a half spin. And we lose positions to both Toro Rosso, or to both Force India drivers, and almost to Daniel Kvyat as well, who for now is just going to remain patient and sit behind. I learned that for now, never go side by side in that part of the track. Rule of thumb, it never ends well. You couldn't squeeze 2 cars in there on 2016 with the wider cars. You're definitely not going to be able to fit 2 cars in there on 2017. As we fly at the inside of Magnussen and push him wide out of 4, very aggressive move. But that was just my frustration out of him barging me wide coming out of the double left-hander. We now have got both Force Indias to catch up to, of Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez. Ocon runs a little bit wide on the entry into 7, compromises his exit, and again it's almost going to be a carbon copy of last lap, but we lift off and allow ourselves to dive up the inside because Ocon made the mistake. We lifted off and then Ocon went a bit deep, expecting us to brake later or still be there, and he's just gone deep into the corner. And we've gained a free position there. Coming on to the end of lap 5 now, Daniel Kvyat side by side with us with a great run down the back straight. Braking together still side by side as we squeeze him out for room on the outside. A little bit dirty there, but no contact made, just squeezed him out for room. No harm done in the end as Kvyat tries to come back at us very next lap. Our pace during this weekend, even with the difficulty lowered, felt very, very poor. I still felt like I was a good second or so a lap slower than even the cars around me. The Toro Rossos, the Renaults, the Hulkenberg, Haas's, all the other cars like that. And it was just a case of holding on, really, I noticed in this race. As you can see, the train I was starting to get forming behind me. Kvyat didn't want to go for the lunge into turn 4. We held on to 4th place as some of the early runners are pitted. We got both Kvyat and Hulkenberg up our inside into the final corner. We get pushed wide a little bit by Daniel Kvyat, but we hold on and pit at the end of lap 7 for the first time in this race for some medium compound tyre. 2.6 second pit stop from Renault as we come out and rejoin in last place. Romain Grosjean has just got past us. We rejoin in last position, but there are still quite a few drivers still yet to pit. There we go on the end of lap 10 now. Nico Hülkenberg with a great tow after he's pitted for super soft tyres. As you can see, we've moved up to 12th, which shows that a lot of the other runners have now pitted. But Hülkenberg and Kvyat both on super soft tyres, which makes me believe that they might be 3-stopping in this race. So I'm hoping that my medium tyres can last and I can do the 2-stop, because in the long term of the race I reckon that'll be much more beneficial. I should be able to finish ahead of these guys. But as Daniel Kvyat squeezes us out on the exit of 3, we get a warning for a collision with him and try and hold it round the outside of 4. Still side by side, and again Kvyat just with a little bit of contact there on the exit of 4. I don't know why we got the warning for that. Kvyat very, very rude on the exit of 3. But yeah, we couldn't really hold on and keep up with those positions. Carlos Sainz also on super soft, flying past us the very next lap on lap 12. 2 compound difference between me and the guys around me. So it's not a surprise I'm losing about 2-3 seconds a lap on them. But we do manage to do brilliantly well to hold off Carlos Sainz there out the first few corners. But he might try a lunge up our inside into 4. He does try a lunge up our inside into 4. We give him as little room as possible. And correct a bit of oversteer coming out of turn 4, but we hold on to the position. A few other runners that started on soft tyres have now pitted as well, as Carlos Sainz is now looking up our inside into this left-hander at the end of the middle sector. We run very wide there trying to compensate for him, and it cost us the position there, as we've now got Massa and Ocon behind us for position 12. Pressure is really, really on in this race at every single point of it. There's never been not something going on. Every lap there's always been some car around me trying to overtake me, trying to apply pressure to me. As Massa goes alongside us with the Mercedes engine, and Ocon with the tow and DRS flies past both of us. We brake later than Massa and hold on to the position from him, keep 13th, and then push Ocon wide out of 2, and we move into 12th. Defensive driving needed here, massively, as the AI are just all over us at the moment. That's how slow I am this weekend. The AI just completely all over us. Nowhere to go, nothing for me to do here. Right, Ocon now looking up our inside, out of the first DRS straight. Compromises his entry a bit by using too much curb on the entry, but he manages to hold on and take the position, as now we've got both Williams cars surrounding us, Massa and Stroll. Massa tried it up the inside of turn 1 again like he did before, and again we've held it, braking a little bit later than him and holding it around the outside. Massa again looking at the inside of the final corner. We give him again as little room as possible. This is a common feature here of these attempted overtakes in the AI. We're trying to give them as little room as possible on the inside. Massa dives up, and now Stroll with a tow on both of us, looking like it's going to try and be 2 abreast for the Williams drivers. We didn't try and look for it into turn 1, but then we're trying to get a tow on Massa coming into 4, who tries to get a tow on his teammate Stroll. We lunge up the inside of both of them into 4. We get past Massa. Are we going to force Stroll a little bit wide? Yes, we are. And on our medium tyres, we hold on brilliantly to 12th position. Again, more defensive driving. But again, next lap, the pressure is on. The DRS is really helping these guys out, and the Mercedes engines. But Stroll flies past us. Massa flies past us. Outbraking Massa though into turn 1. And again, we're going to hold it round the outside of turn 1 and keep the position out of turn 1, 2 and 3. The AI just seem incapable of overtaking me there. Almost swooping round their outside of turn 1. As we push up the inside of Stroll, who overtook us down the first DRS straight. And we hold on the position, but Stroll's still there on the inside on his grippier super soft tyres, can take that tighter line into that corner as we lose position 10. As you can probably tell from the tyre condition indicator, my tyres don't look so good. This is only my 10th lap on this set of tyres, yet they're already on 74%. That was how hard I was pushing, which meant that feasibly it wasn't possible for me to pull off a 2-stop unless I went on to mediums, but with me not having another set of medium tyres available, that wasn't possible. Magnussen now flies up our inside into turn 1 as well, as Massa got us down the last straight. A little bit of contact in the braking zone there. I locked up the right front, and again the AI are able to hold it out of turn 1, 2 and 3, but Magnussen's still got something alongside our car, as you can see by the red indicator. Now both Haas cars are looking for it, Grosjean and Magnussen. Magnussen gets the move done, but Grosjean on his medium tyres had to yield. The little bit of contact there as well into 5, and that pushes Magnussen wide, and we hold on to the position. A little bit of luck there, as I feel like the contact with Magnussen was what forced him wide, really. At the end of lap 18, Magnussen diving up our inside into the final corner, as we are going to make hopefully our final pit stop. I wanted to be a bit more cautious on the soft tyres at the end here, to see if they could possibly last to the end of the race. Again, we rejoin pretty much at the back, as you can see Magnussen's behind us, but we get a great tow on Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren GG Honda engine into turn 1, and we move up into 15th position. Now it was just a case of maintaining position and hoping that some of the drivers in front needed to pit again, as Magnussen takes 15th position off of us. But again, round the outside of turn 1 we hold it, and if you look, 6 laps on these tyres and they're already on 45%. 2 laps later they're now on 59. Magnussen's still going for it into turn 1. He's got a big gap this time, so we might not be able to hold it. We still try to, though. Still side by side. Magnussen throwing his hand up there in frustration of the fact that we continually hold it round the outside of turn 1. Magnussen still got something alongside our car again. This could be a carbon copy of about 7-8 laps ago. He's still there, Kevin Magnussen. Both of us on the same compound of tyre. Going to be side by side coming into this right-left as well. Side by side for an entire sector with Kevin Magnussen. That was unbelievable from both of us. Clean racing with the AI. I love to see that as we hold on to 15th. Now on lap 27 my tyres were at 80%. I considered pitting for super softs and maybe going for just a personal best lap of the race, but I thought better of it and just hoped that the tyres would hold on. Magnussen got past us in the end because our tyres were just that badly worn, we couldn't defend from him.
This is your final lap of the race.
And then at the start of the final lap our tyres are now on 92%, so to hope that they will last to the end of the race is a nigh on impossibility. And there you go, at the exit of turn 4, the left front punctures and we lose a position to Alonso, and we can still drive relatively quickly, but braking is a massive issue. We've now lost a position to Verline, and then Ericsson and Van Dorn right behind us, so it looks like we're going to finish in last position here. What could have been 15th is going to end up being stone dead last, which is a massive disappointment. Considering 15th place was a possibility, I know the team expected me 13th, but I would have taken 15th. As you can see there, we have to brake early to avoid contact base, or to avoid not going too deep into the corner, and we get hit straight at the backside by, I think it was Stoffel Van Dorn. If not, it was one of the front runners, either Bottas or Raikkonen, that are behind us. But Valtteri Bottas, who's in the lead of the race, is going to come across the line and win, and we are going to finish a lap down. Very, very disappointing. 1 lap down, last position. There's not much else I can really say about that. That's the end of that. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you for the Russian Grand Prix next time.